All right, so we're gonna get started seated in our practice today. So if you wanna sit on a cushion or a block or something, but you're just gonna find a comfortable seated posture, whatever feels good for you. And once you're there, just take a few moments to settle in. So maybe rolling the shoulders up and back, maybe just taking the neck side to side. And then the hands can face down or face up or come to the lap, anywhere that feels good, where you can release the neck and shoulders. And then you want the chin to be parallel with the ground so that the back of our neck is an extension of the spine there, rather than tucking. We tend to do one or the other. You might do just a little tuck of the chin to lengthen back there. Feel the sits bones really connect with the ground, and then growing nice and tall all the way through the crown of the head. And then just checking in to see if you can relax the legs a little bit rather than holding tension there. Instead, just stacking the spine rather than using a lot of tension in the legs to sit tall. So usually I find that I can lean back just a little bit and it takes off some of that pressure in the thighs to do the work. And once we've found that comfortable place on our seat, we'll start to just take our breath from inhaling and exhaling through the mouth. If it's available, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And working on trying to make that inhale and exhale even in counts, maybe even counting in the mind, starting maybe at 4, maybe you can take it up to 5 or 6, but we want it to be gentle, so not really forceful on either the inhale or the exhale. Maybe using some visualization here to keep the mind centered and present. So maybe visualizing that breath traveling along the spine, or a balloon inside your belly, inhaling and expanding and exhaling as it comes back closed. And just breathing here for about 5 more deep breaths to center ourselves. And as you continue to breathe, I'm just going to share a small poem from Rupi Kaur. When snow falls, I long for grass. When grass grows, I walk all over it. When leaves change color, I beg for flowers. When flowers bloom, I pick them. Taking a moment to, as you breathe here, connect with something that you have gratitude for, something that you're feeling a satisfaction for right now. Just feel in these moments, it's important for us to ground ourselves in gratitude. So finding something at the start of our practice that when the mind wanders, we can bring it back to that positive place, that positive energy, that contentment and fulfillment in our lives. Maybe even connecting that idea of gratitude in your mind with a particular image. So when our minds are connected to something visually, not just words, it makes it a little bit deeper. So maybe if it's a person you thought of imagining their face, or a place that you found yourself in the past week that brought you gratitude, something like that that you can really imagine. And take that image into your mind. And on your next inhale, you're going to bring the palms all the way up, reaching nice and tall. Bring the gaze up towards the thumbs as you flicker the eyes open. And as you exhale, coming into a twist. So bringing your hand to your knee, back hand back behind you. Doesn't matter which way you go. Sit nice and tall on the inhale. Exhale, twist a bit deeper. Inhale, arms up overhead, gazing up. Exhale, twist to the opposite side. Bring the gaze to that back hand. So we're warming up the neck as well. Inhale, gaze comes up to the thumbs. Exhale, gaze follows that back hand. Inhale. Exhale. Last round here. Inhale. Exhale. Take the twist as deeply as you can. Last side. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, palms fall down all the way coming into a forward fold. So the hands are going to come onto the ground, kind of like a modified child's pose, and you use the hands to push the sits bones back onto the ground, but also reach forward, drop the head wherever it lands. Next inhale. Bring yourself back up and just switch the crossing of the legs. So put the opposite foot in front. Inhale, nice and tall. As you exhale, either side, bring one hand down to the ground, now taking a side stretch. So as you stretch in this direction, your opposite hip is pushing down and grounding so that you feel a really nice stretch all the way through the side body. Inhale through center. Exhale, plant that hand down and reach. And then start to move with your own breath. You might find with each exhale, you can go a little bit deeper, but still being gentle and not forceful as we start to warm up. So really focusing on moving with the breath as we take these first simple movements. Let's take one more round. Maybe you can come all the way down to the forearm. Now that that side body is stretched up a bit more limber on this last round. And coming back through center one more time. Inhale as you gaze up, exhale, forward fold. Push into the hands, drop the head and the neck. Inhale, bring yourself back up. We're going to take the hands to the knees and just take a couple circles to warm the shoulders up. So moving into the shoulders, and then as you come back, gripping the knees as you hollow out the belly. Bring yourself back around. So kind of like a cat-cow motion as you come forward. And then let's take it in the opposite direction. Last round. And coming back to center. We're going to come into a little bit of boat pose to warm up the core. So we'll take it through those steps little by little. So you want to bring the heels close to the bum, hold on to the knees and get a nice straight back. From here, just inhale, lifting one foot. Exhale, tap it down just to the toes. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Take one more round of that. Moving with your own breath. And then maybe you can bring the hands behind the knees and bring it up to both feet. And a tap. If at any time lower back pain begins, you can just bring it back down a level. You can also always have the hands just behind the back for a little extra support. All right, once we're there, we're going to see if we can hold it for a little bit. Maybe you can release the hands, drawing the chest forward. All right. One more deep breath here. Maybe you can straighten the legs for that last breath. Exhale, come into butterfly, releasing the hips, releasing the lower back. We're going to take one more round of our boat, and you can take similarly what we did before. Otherwise, we're going to practice with a little lower and bringing it up, and I'll show you a couple options for that. So coming back here, you can choose to have the hands behind the back for extra support here, or you can play with having the hands up. So we're going to lower down almost onto our backs, but you're going to keep yourself lifted and then come back into boat. So that's quite challenging. So if you need to, have the hands here, and then you can bring yourself back up. But we're still using the core to engage and pull ourselves up. Let's try to go for 3 more. So you almost drop it down, use the exhale, bring yourself back up. Inhale down, exhale up, inhale down, exhale up, hold if you can. 1 more deep breath. Now open up to that butterfly. Sit nice and tall, release the lower back. Exhale, release the hips. From here, we're going to cross over the ankles and come into our tabletop posture. Just take a couple cat-cows to release out the lower back, moving with your own breath. As you inhale, really drop the chest. As you exhale, tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin. And then coming to a neutral spine, we're going to walk the hands forward to come into puppy pose. So hips stay above the knees, dropping down to either the chin or the forehead. Trying to really let the armpits and the chest iron out to the ground. Next inhale, bring yourself back up. So we're going to play with a little, I mentioned that we're going to do our half moon today, so we're going to play with half moon alignment from our tabletop posture. So we're going to inhale, start by bringing that left foot back, all right, and just moving back and forward a little bit here. And then we're going to come into that modified side plank pose. So our shoulder is directly under our arm. We can kick out that foot if we need to, like a little kickstand, and then we inhale our left hand up. So we're on our right knee and our right hand for this one. Okay, so now here, you can stay right here, or you can play with lifting that left leg, right? And we notice that when we're on our knee, it's really easy to get this really straight line from the head to the foot. Not really easy. Yeah, it's challenging. You're working the core a lot. Every time you take a little wiggle, that means you're using the core. All right, now if you haven't kickstanded out already, you might want to do so. One last little challenge is you can kick into that foot and reach back, and then reopen the chest here. All options. We can just be in that modified side plank if we need to. Slowly try to release that foot and that hand. So that's the half moon alignment we're looking for. Bring that left hand and left knee down. We'll take that to the other side. All right, so first plant that left hand directly under the shoulder. Really grip into the fingertips here. Push into the top of that foot. Stack your shoulders. Bring that right arm up. And then slowly float that back leg up. All right, so we've got that nice alignment here. You might stay right here. It's okay to wiggle. I'm wiggling. And then maybe you can bend into that back foot and reach and grab for that. Think about peeling the heart open again. Keep pushing into that hand and the top of the foot and the shin. Release that leg back open. And drop that foot down. Bring yourself back to that cat-cow. Take a couple rounds to neutralize the spine. And then let's just sit back onto the heels for a second. Let's just do a little release of the wrists. So we'll bring them all the way up. Trying to bring the fingers as close to the forearm as you can, and then bring it back down. All right, from here, we're going to come into our downward facing dog. And we're gonna just flow a couple times between down dog and plank. So as we inhale, we're moving ourselves forward into that plank. As you exhale, lift the hips up, push them back. Let's take 3 more rounds of that. Inhale to plank. Exhale, lift through the hips, tiptoes, push it back. 2 more. Rounding through the spine. Last one here. And back to down dog. We're gonna play with a little bit of dolphin here. So for dolphin, we wanna drop down onto our forearms. And you might find right here, this is challenging enough, and you're just gonna work on holding that dolphin pose, pushing into the hands and the forearms. If it's available, you're gonna try to take a little step forward and lift that right leg up, and then drop it down almost to the ground. Kick it up for 5, 4, head's not on the ground, 3, 2, 1. Take it to the left leg. Pick it up and then drop it almost down. Pick it up, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the knees down. Come into our first child's pose. Release the upper body. Maybe bring the arms back behind. Bring the hands back forward, coming into our down dog to start our flow. So take any movement, since this is our first down dog that we're holding here for a little bit. Maybe kicking up a leg, wagging the tail. And then find that stillness. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Really think about that straight line from the tailbone to the wrist crease. Next inhale, come to the tiptoes. Exhale, walk yourself to the front of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, deep fold. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up to the top. Gaze to the fingertips. Exhale, hands to heart center. Coming into our Surya Namaskara or Sun Salutation A. Inhale. Exhale, hinge, swan dive down. Inhale, half lift, 90-degree angle. Exhale, plant the hands, step it back to plank. Maybe lower the knees or keep them up. Slowly lower down. Keep the elbows tucked in tight to the chest. Inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together, cobra. Exhale, push yourself back, maybe through the knees. Downward facing dog. 3 deep breaths here. Let the shoulder blades relax down the back. Shoulders away from the ears. Next, inhale to the tiptoes. Exhale, step walker, float it forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, deep fold. Inhale, sweep it all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale it up. Exhale, hinge down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step walker, float it back to plank. Maybe keep the knees lifted. Lower yourself down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, push back. Downward facing dog. 3 deep breaths. Nice straight back. Bend the knees as much as we need. Inhale to the toes. Exhale, bring it forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, deep fold. Inhale, bring the arms all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's pause just for a moment here. Bring the feet together, zip the legs together. Thumbs to sternum, push the palms together, active arms. Close the eyes. Just checking in with our inner balance today. Feeling the heartbeat. We'll come into 1/3 Final round with your own breath at your own pace as you are ready. Take your time to complete that third and final round, returning to that balance posture. All right, because it's our Monday class, we're going to come into Surya Namaskar B as well. So this is where we add in our chair pose at the start and end. We also add in a warrior one. Now there are 3 vinyasas in one round of Surya Namaskar B. So pick and choose. Another great option is if you don't want to do the full vinyasa, you can maybe hold plank for some of them. You can just push to down dog. So take what option works best for you. And we'll begin with first round of B. So as you inhale, you're going to come to chair pose. Arms can be straight up or at heart center. Make sure we're not arching the back, but tucking the tailbone and pushing the belly button towards the spine. Inhale, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step it back or flow or plank. Once we're there, downward dog. We inhale that right leg up to the sky, 3-legged dog. Exhale, come to step it in between the hands. Drop the back heel, warrior one, push the palms together, gaze follows the palm all the way up. Exhale right away, coming down, plant the hands, step it back. Flow 2 is here, plank or push back, downward facing dog. We all meet in down dog to take it to the other side. Inhale, left leg rises. Exhale, step it through, drop that back heel. Inhale, follow the palms up. Exhale, bring the palms back down. Step it back, third and final flow. Hold, plank, or push back. We all meet in downward facing dog. Now we take our 3 deep breaths here. Push into the whole palm of the hand. Push through all the way to the tip of the pointer finger and thumb. One more breath here. Inhale to the toes. Exhale, bring it to the front of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, deep fold. As you inhale, sink the hips. Bring it to chair pose. Choose your arm variation. Inhale, splash it up. Exhale, hands to heart center. That was 1 round. We're going to do 2 more. Inhale to chair. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hand, step walker, float it back. Flow or push back. Once we hit that down dog, inhale, right leg up. Exhale, step it through. Drop that back heel. Inhale, follow the gaze. Gaze follows the hands. Exhale, hands come back down. Step it back. Remember your options here. You don't have to flow all 3. Once we hit that down dog, inhale, left leg up. Exhale, step it through. Drop that back heel. Inhale, follow the gaze. Follow the hands. Exhale, hands down. Flow or not to flow. We all meet in downward dog. Take those 3 deep breaths. Connect with that gratitude as we come into stillness. Use that visualization and breath. Inhale to the toes. Exhale, bring it forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, deep fold. As you inhale, sink the hips down. Take your arm variation. Exhale, hands to heart center. Pause for a moment. Bring the thumbs to the sternum. Push into the hands, feet together. Nice and tall, close the eyes. Got third and final round of Surya Namaskar B, or Sun Salutation B here. As you inhale, come to your chair. Exhale, deep forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step it back to plank. Flow, or take it back. All in downward facing dog. Inhale that right leg up. Exhale, come step it in between the hands. Drop that back heel. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, hands down. Flow plank or push back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg. Exhale, step it through. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, hands down, step it back. Last little flow here. Downward facing dog. 3 deep breaths. Inhale to the toes. Exhale, bring it forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, deep fold. Last chair here, sink the hips down. Inhale the hands up, we're holding. 2 more deep breaths. Gotta finish strong. Inhale, splash it up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Well done. All right, let's get into a little bit of flow and playing with that half moon. Whew. Inhale the hands up. Exhale, fold and hold. Take the feet to the width of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, grab opposite elbow. Ragdoll. Swing from side to side. Release the neck, maybe shake it yes and no. And slowly release the hands. Maybe taking the peace finger to the big toe, or bending the knees as much as you can, bringing the hands underneath the feet, and then giving a little wiggle of the toes to the wrist. Slowly maybe being able to straighten the legs a bit there. Bending the knees, releasing the fingers or the hands, heel toe the feet back together. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step it back, push back, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg rises up to the sky, 3-legged dog, 1 full breath here. Check in that those toes are pointing down, hips are squared. Exhale, come to step it through. This time we're coming to warrior two, so turn that back heel down. Front heel intersects with that back left arch, and then windmill yourself up into your warrior two. So goal is to get the knee over the ankle and that back leg straight, and then you want to check that you're not leaning forward or back, but you're coming straight up out of your hips. Then you can open the arms up, gaze out over that right middle finger. And your stance can be much shorter, or it can be much wider. Obviously, the wider, the bigger the stretch. Inhale, flip that front palm to reverse. Hand can come down the leg or back behind the back, working on that straight-ish line from the hip. It's more of a curved line, I guess, coming to the fingertips. Deep inhale here. As you exhale, you're going to bring the elbow to that front thigh, coming into side angle. So rather than arms straight up, let's bring it up and over. So make sure our shoulder isn't up here by our ear, but tucked back down. hands pointing down, and you've got that nice straight line all the way to the edge of your foot to the fingertips. And then we're not just sinking into this right shoulder, but pushing our body away, creating as much space as you can here in between the body and the thigh. One more deep inhale here. We're gonna come back to that reverse, straighten that front leg. And then as you exhale, you're gonna come forward into triangle. So reach as far forward as you can. My hand's on my hip here. I'm gonna drop my hand to my shin, my ankle, or my foot. But typically as that hand comes down, my upper body's closing down. I need to stack my shoulders wherever I'm at. So if that means I come up to get there, go for it, come up a bit. And then you can lift that upper arm. And then you're working on your shoulders being in alignment, so you can kind of see where you're at there. You can gaze down at that big toe, can look straight out, or you can gaze up to that left thumb. One more deep breath here. Next inhale, we're gonna come all the way back to that reverse. Exhale, windmill it all the way down. Step it back, flow or push back, downward facing dog. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, let it go. We'll take it to the other side. Inhale that left leg up, three-legged dog. Toes are pointing down. As you exhale, step it through, preparing for that warrior to drop that back foot. Windmill yourself up. Check in with your stance. If you want it a little wider or a little shorter, and then check, we have a tendency to lean forward, but we want our body to come straight out of our hips. Lifting the arms straight out, gaze over that front middle finger. Nice and strong. Let the shoulders fall away from the ears. Inhale, flip that front palm to reverse. Lower body stays exactly the same. Get that nice curved stretch here. It's like you're making a crescent moon with your body. As you exhale, bring that forearm to thigh, reach up and over, now stretching that opposite hip. Should feel a nice release here after curving backwards. Gaze can come up here, or be down, or straight out. Always check in with the neck, make sure you're not straining, but finding a comfortable space there. Getting all that space in between the body and the thigh, you're really pushing into that left forearm. Deep inhale here. All right, next inhale, we're gonna reverse it all the way back as we straighten that front leg, and then exhale, come forward, then drop the hand down, stack the shoulders, then lift that arm up. Maybe bring yourself back up a bit if you feel like you're collapsing forward there. Really push the heart forward. All right, make sure we're not hyperextending our knees, but there's a nice little bend, little micro bend there to protect the joint. And then find where your gaze works for your neck. One more deep breath. Inhale, coming all the way back to that reverse. Exhale, windmill it all the way down, plant the hands, step it back, flow or not to flow. You can skip any of these. You can still keep working on that upper body if you want to just hold that plank for a breath or two. Let's walk the hands back to the feet for a moment. We're going to take a malasana. So open the feet wide, point the heels towards, or toes out a bit, and then sink it down. All right, doesn't matter if you're on the toes or the heels. You're gonna push into the palms so that you can stretch out the elbows to the knees. Sit nice and tall. Grab some water. Hang on, Malasana. So each inhale, you're gonna lengthen yourself up. Exhale, push into those knees a little bit more. One more deep breath. Planting the hands. Inhale, push yourself back up into that forward fold. Exhale, walk the hands forward, downward facing dog. All right, we're gonna come into another flow, but this time we'll add on that half moon. So if you wanna have your bottle or your block or your box, whatever you might be using nearby, have it near the front of your mat there. All right, inhale, right leg up to the sky, three-legged dog. This time let's open the hips, so drop the heel towards the bum. Gaze under that right armpit. Feel that gravity, pull that knee down. Deep inhale here as you exhale, bring it all the way through. Prepare for warrior two. This time you might sink a little bit deeper. Gaze out over that right middle finger. Inhale, flip that front palm to reverse. Maybe arm comes behind the back. Exhale. This time you can choose. Do you want to bring the forearm or do you want to try to grab on to your ankle as you come into side angle, or can that hand come all the way to the ground? Same thing. When we drop that hand down, the chest collapses. So if you're going to put that hand down, you need to really peel that heart open. I find grabbing onto the ankle is a nice in between. And then my arm is pushing to my knee is pushing to my arm. One more breath. Inhale, come back to reverse. This time straighten that front leg. Exhale, reach it forward, triangle. All right, you've got two options here. One is you can transition to your half moon right here, right now. The other is you can play with taking the reverse first and then coming into your half moon, which I will demo. If not, you can just stay right here and transition. So you're gonna inhale, reverse, exhale. I'm gazing forward to come into my half moon. All right, so I've got my block here. The goal eventually, half moon, is that my hand is floating. That's pretty challenging. So take the water bottle, the block, whatever you need. And normally if it was my hand on the ground, right, I'm not aligned because my shoulders are dropping down. So we're using that block to help us get like we were when we were on our knee. And we're firing up that back leg. We're stacking our shoulders. I'm flexing that back foot. All right, if I'm feeling really secure, I'm gazing up at that top thumb. One more deep breath here. Exhale, we're gonna bring that left hand down to the ground, coming into a modified warrior three. So my back foot is still lifted. I'm gonna tuck it back behind this knee and come all the way down to sit. So now I am in a seated twist, ready for a seated twist. Inhale that left arm up. Exhale, you can tuck the elbow or just hug the knee a bit. And then as you inhale, sit a little bit taller. Exhale, gaze out over that back shoulder. Just catching your breath here. One more deep breath. All right, now I'm gonna unwind myself. Right, I'm gonna plant my hands just in front of my feet and then power up that front leg to bring myself all the way back up to that modified warrior three. Step that left foot back down, step it back to plank and flow. You guys are doing awesome. Got one more side here. All right, make sure you've got that block or whatever you're using at the top of your mat. Inhale, left leg up, open the hip, bring the heel back towards the bum. Gaze out under that left armpit. Deep inhale here. Use your exhale to transition you forward. Prepare for warrior two. Bring yourself up. Sink into the hips, maybe a little bit lower this time. Gaze out over that hand. Inhale, flip that front palm. Lower body stays the same. Maybe back hand around the lower back. Making that nice crescent shape. Exhale, bring it forward. Side angle, maybe you grab onto that ankle. Maybe you can drop the hand all the way down. Wherever you go, peel that chest open. Stack the shoulders. Deep inhale. Exhale. Inhale. All the way to reverse. Straighten that front leg. All right, from here, I meant to tell you to go. No, we're here, we're good. Okay. We're coming into triangle. Reach it forward, drop it down, open it up, your triangle. All right? If your hand can reach the ground, you can choose inside or outside of the foot. Either one is okay. You just want to stack the shoulders, right? The lower we go, we start to collapse, so just be mindful of that. Now here is what I was looking for. You can either gaze forward and come into that half moon, or you can play with a little bit more balance challenge. Inhale to reverse, exhale, coming forward into that half moon. Out of the picture. All right, so I'm using my block or my water bottle, stacking my shoulders, getting that back leg super active, like I'm gonna karate kick somebody, and I've got my foot flexed. I'm working on opening my chest, peeling it open. One more deep breath, nice and strong. On your next exhale, bring that right hand down to the ground, modified warrior 3. So now my hips are squared instead of stacked. You can start to bend those knees, bring the right leg behind the left, and now I'm in that seated twist on the other side. Inhale that right arm up to the sky. Exhale, either tuck the elbow or hug onto that thigh. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist. Do that with 2 more rounds of your breath. Next, inhale, come to unwind, plant those hands, fire up that front leg, all the way up into that modified warrior 3, then step it back, bring it back to plank, last flow. Once we find that downward facing dog, we're gonna come into our pigeon pose. So if you'd rather take figure 4 on your back, you can head there now. Otherwise, we're gonna inhale that right leg up, exhale, bring the knee towards the wrist, and lower that back leg down. Reach the left toes back. All right, I'm gonna give you a little extra option today in your pigeon, where we thread the needle. So you can just bring yourself down if that's what you wanna do. Otherwise, we're gonna take that left hand and we're gonna thread it under the right, dropping that left shoulder and left head down into a thread the needle pigeon. All right, you can even bring your pillow under your head here and take a little nap in pigeon. All right, so just adding a little ring it out at the end of class. Should intensify the stretch a little bit back here just because this part of our body is pulling in one direction. We start to slow down the body, trying to keep the mind right here and present. And we inhale, we're gonna bring ourselves back up, plant the hands. We're just switching sides, so if you're in that figure 4, just taking it to the other side. This time we'll bring that left leg forward, coming into pigeon, work those right toes back. Inhale nice and tall, so that left hand comes forward a bit. Then I'm gonna bring that right arm under, dropping that right shoulder, right head down to the mat. We'll thread the needle in the pigeon. Totally optional, as is everything. I like to walk that left hand forward a little bit too, just to feel the stretch across the shoulder blades. slowly bring yourself back up. Coming back into that down dog just for a moment. We're gonna walk the feet to the middle of the mat. We're gonna take one last malasana here. All right. So give you an option here to play with crow if you'd like to. If not, we're working our way to our bum. So if you wanna eventually get there and just wait for us, that's okay too. So if you're coming into your crow, planting the hands, gazing forward, bringing the knees to the tricep or the back of the elbow, starting to lean forward, lifting one toe, lifting the other toe, keeping that gaze nice and forward, engaging the core. Maybe you can lift both. All right, maybe you want to play with shooting back to your vinyasa. So I like to take a big inhale and use the exhale. Inhale, exhale, and then we're just gonna walk ourselves down to our bum. We're gonna lower all the way down onto the back, planting the hands. We're gonna take 3 rounds of bridge. If you have a wheel in your practice and you'd like to practice that today, you can, by all means. So plant the hands, bring the heels as close to the bum as you can. Maybe you can even touch the heels with your fingertips. Do a little tuck of the tailbone to iron the lower back out. And then as you inhale, push into the feet, bring the hips up. Maybe start to tuck the shoulders a little bit under there. Pushing the belly up on the inhale. And slowly lower yourself down. If holding doesn't feel great, you can also flow this. Same benefits, just want to take a little bit of the background at the end of our practice. All right, second round, pushing into the hands, ironing out the lower back. Inhale, bring yourself up. This time maybe clasping the hands underneath. Keeping the knees over the ankles, gazing straight up, making that fist to push into to help us lift the hips a little bit higher. Next, inhale, we're going to release the hands. Exhale, iron the spine back down to the mat, reaching the bum towards the heels. Let's just windshield wiper a little bit before we go into that third round. So third round, you can take either one we just did, or you can create a supported bridge. So stacking elbow to wrist to create a shelf for the sacrum to sit upon. When we do this, we have a tendency just to release the hands and just rest, but I want you to keep pushing into the hands, pushing the body away to protect the wrists. All right, so bringing the knees over the ankles, bring the lower back down, tucking the tailbone. Inhale, bring ourselves up, coming onto the tiptoes, bring one hand and the other underneath. Then slowly let the heels come back down, pushing the body away, that weight away with our hands. All right, you can stay right here. You can play with lifting one leg and the other. One more round. And then bringing yourself back up to the tiptoes, releasing the hands down, ironing the spine back down slowly, windshield wiper side to side. We're going to bring the hands to the kneecaps and just take yourself in a little circle in one direction, circle in the other direction. Bring the knees into the chest, give yourself a nice squeeze, rocking side to side. And then we'll let the knees fall over to one side, open the arms up to a T. If you want a deeper twist, you can cross a leg over before you come. So if we're going to the left, we put the right leg on top. Slowly bringing ourselves back to center. We're going to switch the crossing, if it is crossed. Bringing the gaze to the opposite side where the knees are. Coming back gently through center. We're going to close our practice with a shoulder stand and fish pose. If you prefer just to move to a wall and do legs up the wall, that's a great way to end the practice as well. Or you can use the wall to do your shoulder stand, but we want to do something where we get our hips up. Also, if you have a block or like a foam roller or something at home that you've been using, it's kind of nice to put that under the hips and then stack too, even if you're on the wall, just because then it brings the hips higher than the heart, which is to give us that inversion. So if we're doing a shoulder stand, we're going to bring the legs up to 90 degrees. And we really want to work on, we do all those core exercises, right? Because we want to be able to do this with more control. So rather than having to like rock ourselves up, we want to really engage the core, push into the hands, and without rocking the legs, we're going to start to bring them back behind us, coming into our plow pose. Once we're in plow, we're bringing the hands down as much as we can to the middle back, all right? Work on bringing the elbows together. And then from there, we can slowly bring our feet up. Take your time. Gazing up towards the toes, zipping the legs together. And staying here for at least 8 rounds of breath, but 10 to 15 if you can. Can you play with the flexing or pointing the feet or Barbie foot? Feels best for you. To keep the feet engaged with minimal effort. The legs engaged. See if you can release the glutes a bit. And slowly coming back towards that plow pose with control. Once we're there, bringing the arms back down to the ground or the lower back. And then we'll slowly, well, you have to have your hands on the ground, I suppose, pushing to slowly, one vertebra at a time, bringing yourself down. And you're almost like you're working on a forward fold, keeping the legs as close to the face as possible. And then creating that diamond shape underneath the sacrum. So our hands are like this. Underneath the sacrum, we go straight into our fish pose. So we point the toes, we come up onto the elbows, and then we drop the head back onto the ground. This is a great counter pose on the neck after we've been in our shoulder stand. Slowly get a release out of our fish pose. And take any final movements to bring yourself into your Shavasana. So I usually like to rock my head side to side after a fish in a shoulder stand. Sometimes I do like the windshield wiper the opposite way of the neck. Maybe you want to take a happy baby and push the lower back down onto the mat. Open up the hips. We can even keep the neck moving there. Maybe you want to take a reclined butterfly. Taking about 5 more rounds of breath in those optional postures. And then grabbing any props or anything you might want for your Shavasana. Coming to rest on your back. Letting the arms and legs fall out to the sides. Closing the eyes. Releasing any tension in the feet, in the calves, behind the knees. Relaxing the hips. Letting the breath return to a natural state to release the abdomen, the core, the chest. Relaxing all the way out through the fingertips. Letting the shoulders melt away from the ears. Releasing the neck, the tongue, the jaw, all the muscles around the face. Up to the ears and up to the crown of your head. Using that visualization of gratitude or the count of the breath to keep you right here for this final posture. Completely surrendering and honoring this final pose. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Beginning to wiggle fingers and toes. Taking the head side to side. Rolling wrists and ankles. Eventually taking a deep inhale. Coming into a full body stretch as if awakening in the morning. And as you exhale, bringing the knees into the chest, bringing yourself into a tight ball. Rocking side to side, massaging the lower back. And then coming on to your favorite side. Coming into the first posture our bodies ever knew. And then keeping the eyes restful, pushing yourself up to a comfortable seated posture. Once we're there, inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhaling the hands through heart center. Begin to rub the hands together. And then we'll cover the eyes. Maybe use this energy to see the beauty within ourselves and within our world. Once again, creating this heat and energy. This time we'll cover the ears. May we use this energy to hear positive thoughts about ourselves and our world. One last time, this time covering the heart. May we love ourselves and our world fully. Inhaling the arms up one more time, gathering this energy. Exhale, hands to heart center. Namaste.